everybody, Jeremy here. So today in the kitchen, I want to show you this Zstar Indoor Air Frying Grill. So you can find this and pick it up on Amazon, and as of the recording time of this video, the price is $130. But they also have a $20 coupon code that you can apply directly on the product page. Now, this grill was graciously provided to me by the company for the purposes of this review, and I'm going to be testing it out today with some steak and potatoes. All right, so before we get into that, let me show you all the features and functions that this grill provides. First, I want to show you all the accessories that this comes with. Now, the first thing is going to be a bit of a free gift. It's a set of tongs that you can use to flip your food around, move your food around, whatever you want to do. They just throw this in the box as a thank you for purchasing it. And I like this thing. It's very reminiscent of the one that I already use. So here it is closed, and you just push this little knob up to free the tongs, and then you pull it down to lock it into place. It's got a pretty strong tension to it, so I do like it, but it is a bit on the small side. I will show you one that I usually use here in my kitchen. This is like one that I usually use, and then this is the one that they give you. So you can kind of see the height difference between the two, but it's still nice to get this as a thank you. So this is a nice set of tongs here, nice and grippy on the side. You're also going to get this air frying basket right here. And then you're also going to get a grill grate that I'm going to lift up with this glove on, because I was just running it, making sure everything is working properly. So this is the grill grate here. And then beneath the grill grate, you're going to get the main base that you're going to be using whenever you use this unit. So this just goes right down in the middle. And then you just put the grill grate or the air frying basket on top, depending on what you want to do. But one of the most unique things about this particular grill that caught my attention is definitely the control panel here on the top. One of the unique features about this grill that I like is that the control panel is located at the top as opposed to being in the middle or on the bottom. And that just makes it more convenient for you if you don't want to stoop down or bend over in order to see your control panel, switch up some settings, or see how much time you have left. I like that it's right here on the top. And I also like that these are all capacitive touch buttons. So there's nothing to click, there's no knobs to turn. It's just like your phone. So if we turn this on, just by giving it a tap, you see these are all of our preset modes. We have bacon, roast, grill, vegetables, preheat, dehydrate, and air crisp. Depending on what mode you're on is going to determine how high the temperature can get. So for example, if we just use bacon, the highest temperature that we can use is going to be 420 degrees for the bacon. But if we were to go over to grill, the highest temperature is going to be 450. If we go over to air crisp, the highest temperature is going to be 450. Vegetables, the highest temperature is going to be, let's just hold it so that we can see for sure, 420. And then of course you got your timer right there on the right side. So it's not complicated. It's really easy to use. You just push whatever preset you want and let it go from there, or you can just manipulate the time and the temperature the way that you want it. And there's no other buttons to be aware of. There's nothing else going on. That's all you need to know about how this grill operates. So for my first test of this grill, I'm going to do some potatoes. Fresh potatoes that I cut up into wedges, and I have blanched those on the stove, and I'm going to air fry them in here. So what I'm going to do is take this air crisping basket and put it right here. Then I'm going to get the potatoes, I'm going to season them up, I'm going to tell you what I did, and I'm going to toss them in there, and we're going to get cooking. All right, so here come the wedges. I'm all right here, just going to put them down there. So all that I did was I blanched these, in hot water. Then after I did that, I just seasoned them with salt and pepper and paprika and some olive oil. I have olive oil on them too. So I just put them in the basket. I lined it with some aluminum foil just to kind of keep things a little bit nicer and neater so I don't have to worry about cleaning up too much. Now let's close this lid down and let's start cooking. And I'm going to go with their recommended setting at the bottom. It shows that for fries that are not frozen, it says between 370 and 410 degrees Fahrenheit for 16 to 24 minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on air crisp. I'm going to put it at 400 degrees, and I'm just going to leave it at 20 minutes here by default. And now we just press the start button. Now, one thing that you will notice is that it has an internal light that comes on so that you can sort of sneak a peek at what you're cooking without having to open up the lid. Now, that only takes you so far because, as you can see, it's a very orange light. So if you wanted to see how brown something was getting, it's kind of hard to do that when the light is really orange, but it does still give you a window into how far along your progress is. Now, you can't control this light. It will come on intermittently. So from what I've been able to see, it seems like it stays on for around a minute, and then it'll shut off for around 20 seconds or so, and then it'll turn right back on. So it's a continuous cycle. But anyway, we're going to leave. We're going to keep checking on these fries for the next 15 minutes or so. Come back and see how we did. Then we're going to get the steak ready. So we're halfway through with these fries. It beeped a few times to let me know that it's time to shake them up. And I haven't done that yet, but let's just kind of see where we are now. So as I touch it, yeah, it's still not done yet, but we're definitely getting there. You can kind of see the crisp already starting to form. So I'm just going to pick this up, give it a shake. I needed both hands for the shake, but let's put that back down in there and close the top. And it starts back automatically. So we'll see where these are in about 10 minutes or so. All right, so you can see there, everything is looking pretty good. Nice and golden brown and crispy. Let's just grab one of these. This is one of the thinner wedges. It's nice and crispy on the outside. It's not hard on the inside, and that's where that whole blanching thing comes into play. It helps to alleviate that during the air frying. But to me, these are good and these are done. So let's just grab another one. Like this one here, it's a little bit thicker. Yeah, that's pretty good, I'd say. So now I'm going to take these out, and in its place, I'm going to put down this grill grate. And now it's time for the steak. But before we put the steak on, I'm going to close this back down. And I'm going to stop it. And I'm going to stop it because I want to show you that even though I press the button there to turn it off, you can still hear the fan still going. So it's like it takes a moment for it to actually turn off. Now, I could just kill the power and that will turn the fan off, but I still want to get a sense of how long it's going to take if I were to just press the start stop button. So let's see. All right, so it was about 20 seconds or so. So before I put the steak in, I want to preheat this first. So I'm going to press the preheat button. See, it's flashing. I'm going to bring the temperature up to 450 degrees, and I'm going to put the timer, I'm just going to put it at maybe 12. I'm not going to even use all that time probably. So I'm just going to put it like that, and I'm going to hit start stop. So right now it's still preheating. As you saw when I started it off, it was at 11 minutes and then it started ticking down during what I'm assuming is still preheating, and now we're down to 4 minutes. So more than half the time has gone by, and it's supposed to tell me when the preheating is done. It's supposed to have a ready indicator followed by a few beeps, and that's basically what I'm waiting for. And I'm hoping I did it right. I think I did it right. If you can see that the preheat little line is selected underneath the preheat function. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to let this continue to go for as long as it needs to in order to preheat. And hopefully it doesn't take the full 11 minutes, because that would be a long time to preheat up to 450 degrees. So I've been waiting here for like 13 minutes. I actually had to restart it just to see if I would get the preheating is done indicator, and it never happened. So I don't know if that's because it's not actually 450 degrees inside of here or what, but you can't reasonably expect someone to wait so long for their air fryer to preheat. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start this whole thing over. I'm not going to even do the preheating anymore. So I'm just going to stop this. I'm going to hit grill, and I'm just going to set the time here to, we're just going to have it at 12 minutes. Here's my steak right here, and I am going to aim for medium rare. So I got a thermometer inserted inside of it. Thermometer says it's 53 degrees right now. So let's just put the steak right here on this grill grate. We should hear a sizzle. That's a pretty good sizzle. So let's close it down. I'm gonna keep my eye on the temperature, and once we get to around 100 degrees or so, I'm gonna flip it over, and then once we get to 130, I'm gonna take it off. So we'll see how long this takes. Even though the preheating didn't work out for us, we'll see if it can still cook a pretty decent steak. Our steak is at 96 degrees. We've been going for a few minutes. Let's open this up. So that's what it's looking like so far. Not bad, but let's flip this over using the tongs that they provided. You see that we have a sort of spirally pattern there on the grill. So those are our grill marks, kind of going in circles. All right, and this is a cowboy ribeye steak, by the way. I'm not sure if I mentioned that. So I'm gonna go ahead and close this. And just so you know, I have this closed, but since this wire is coming out from right here, there's a little gap right down there. So it's not completely flushed closed like it would be if this wire wasn't sticking out of it. But you know, as long as the food gets cooked, it'll be totally fine. And no smoke. There hasn't been any smoke, nothing like that. You can smell the steak, but you know, there's no smoke at all. And the unit itself is not loud. So I do have to give it credit for that. You do know that it's on. You know, it's not super whisper quiet, but it's not a jet engine either. So good with keeping the sound down. And it definitely looks like that whole preheating mishap that we had is not going to have an effect on whether this steak can get cooked in a reasonable amount of time. My thermometer says that we are at 130 degrees, 131 right now, with 4 minutes to go. So that is 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. So we've been cooking for about 8 minutes. Let's take this thing off the grill first. See if you can get a nice look at that. We're dripping, but that's okay. A little dripping never hurt anybody. There's the other side. I'm just going to set this down here and it's going to rest for a handful of minutes. Then we will cut into it. But here's the damage from the grill here. It's like that 450 degree temperature, whether or not it was 450 degrees, I don't know. But we still got this steak cooked in the amount of time that I felt that it should be cooked. So that was good. Splatter shield is looking pretty good up there. And you can see the cleanup that I need to do from the actual grate. But let's let the steak rest, cut into it, see how we did. I think that's been long enough, so let's just cut into this steak and take a closer look at it. I'm just going to cut it right down the middle, at least at first, so that we can see. Probably a little bit more than medium, but still nicely cooked nonetheless. And of course, we definitely have to try a piece. Maybe that one's a little bit too long. There we go. A good test of any air fryer is how we cook steak. And this one is nice and juicy. We're dripping. Let's see how this turned out. Wonderful. I do love a good steak. And really, when I season this, all I do is just use salt and pepper. That's it. And it comes out great every time. Okay, you guys. So that is how this Zstar Indoor Air Fryer grill can handle raw potatoes transformed into crispy potatoes, and how it cooks a basic, standard, but still very, very good steak. And I think it turned out wonderfully. good results on both ends. If I could change anything about this unit, it would definitely be figure out what's going on with that preheating. That was just kind of weird. It never told me when the preheating was actually done, and I don't know if it's because it was malfunctioning or maybe I had to wait a little bit longer. I'm not sure, but everything still turned out okay. And another thing that I would like to see a little bit different is a change of the color of the bulb inside, because when you have it just very, very orange, it looks nice in the dim room, but you really can't see the finer details about what you're cooking. If you want to see if you really got that nice brown skin, if you're cooking chicken or something on the outside, you can't really tell because the light is too orange. I think something like a daylight balanced bulb where it looks nice and white on the inside may not look as pretty, you know, like in pictures, but you will have a far more accurate look as to what your food is actually doing in there without having to lift up the lid. But the unit is very easy to operate. I love the touch capacitive buttons, and I think that it did a very good job. But that is it for me, you guys. I'm going to pass this steak around and we are going to have ourselves a little feast here today. I want to thank you all so much for joining me, and take care of yourselves. Until next time, I'm Jeremy, and I'll talk to you later.